Welcome to Mr. Miller's Flipped Classroom. This lesson is about algebraic expressions. Suppose we have an apple. On top and then below it, 4 apples. The one thing that these two sets of apples have in common is that they both have 1 apple. On the bottom, there are 3 more apples than on the top. What if there were 2 apples on top and 5 on the bottom? Well, they still have 2 apples in common, and then the same 3 additional apples on the bottom, which are not on the top. As on the bottom, they both have 3 apples, but the quantity on the bottom has 3 extra apples. Suppose we didn't know how many apples were on top, and so we also didn't know exactly how many were on the bottom. Well, we can represent this with a variable. A variable is a quantity that may assume any value. It's a symbol for a value we don't know. X is the most popular variable. Now, it's not the only one. You can use almost anything. You could use a, you could use a triangle, but X is really everybody's go-to variable. In this scene here, with our X apples on top and the apples on the bottom, we don't know how many there are. We just are going to call that value X. And then that bottom value, which was X and then 3 more apples, we can write as an expression X plus 3. Now let's evaluate the expression if X equals 1. Well, if X equals 1 and X plus 3 equals 4. So there's our 1 on the top and then 1 plus 3, or 4, on the bottom. What if X were 2? Then X plus 3 would equal 5. There's 2 on the top, and there are 5 on the bottom. 2 plus 3. Let's look at a different kind of algebra. And 2 on the bottom. They make a little set. Now there's another apple on top, and 2 more on the bottom. That's another set. For every apple on top, there are 2 on the bottom. Let's see if we keep going the same way. Now there are 3 on top, and now there are 6 on the bottom. 3 times 2. There's also an algebraic expression that can represent this. If we don't know how many apples are X, and then the number of apples on the bottom will be 2x. Now 2x means 2 times x. In algebra, we never use a x sign for multiplication. When there's a variable, we can just write whatever number you want to multiply by that variable next to it. Note that the number is first, the variable goes second, and then you'll see what happens in a moment when we actually evaluate that expression with a number. Let's start with 1. If x equals 1, then 2x is 2 times 1, and that equals 2. Notice that to multiply 2 times 1, we had to write the 1 in parentheses. But still, it's still just next to the 2. Let's evaluate the expression if x equals 2. So that's 2x, or 2 times x. 2 times 2 equals 4. These are algebraic expressions. They're algebraic expressions because they have a variable. X is the variable in x plus 3. It's a value we don't know, but we use the symbol x to hold its place. 2x is a variable. It means 2 times x. 2x is an expression, an algebraic expression. It means 2 times x, and there's the variable x that makes it an algebraic expression. Thanks for learning with Mr. Miller's Flipped Classroom. If you want to connect with me, I have a professional blog called Symphony of Ideas on WordPress. I'm on Twitter as barmilledu, and there will also be links to my other social media connections in the video description.